Hello everyone, welcome to my pitch for Watsonx.ai. Here, as we all know, today is the world of AI, more precisely, a world of generative AI. In this, IBM is playing its own part, and as our reputation goes, IBM has its own product which is more reliable, more trustworthy, and more cost effective. That is the most important problem of current client financial crunch that we all facing. In that we want to utilize our resources and we want to decrease our expenditure in a manner so that our day-to-day life routine work don't get hampered, and we can also invest same amount of resources to our transformation, to our innovation, and to the betterment of ourselves. For that, WatsonX.ai provides a perfect product or a tool for our client. How? Let me demonstrate that. As you may be wondering what I'm doing here, I'm here to demonstrate a real life example how WatsonX.ai can be useful. For example, suppose I need a white flower for a religious stuff or puja. In that, I have a shrub in my own garden. You can treat this garden as our IBM WatsonX. In that, using WatsonX.ai, we have many foundation models like with this shrub, which is guarded by its own principles, governance, and trustworthy measures which are market leading. Now, as you know, this is a single shrub which has a flower which I need. It requires a limited amount of resources like water and all those things which I can easily give, and in return I can get the product. But in case if you want to have a third party or outside world solution, which as you can see is large, requires a large resources to maintain and all these things, and in return we may get a positive solution also, or we may get a solution which we want with some additional unwanted threats, for example like this insects. So here we are investing a lots of resources, a lots of time, a lots of hard work in order to only maintain it. But for WatsonX.ai, same amount of resources you can invest in other models for other scenarios and all those things. In WatsonX.ai, you can also have a domain specific scenario models also working for you. For example, this shrub can be only specific for a particular domain. In that, we, with this limited amount of resource, can train it to its more accurate and a supreme manner. Now, let's go back to a technical playground where we would be demonstrating all these things in a more better manner. I guess the insect had eaten me. Seems they are using their own AI, the animal intelligence. Let's get back to that.
Welcome. This is a technical playground that we were talking about. As you can see, this is the IBM Watson X console. In this, not only the prompt hub is there that we were talking about, but there are tools that in which we can train, validate, and tune our AI models as per our need. Now, let me take a moment to display Watson X platform and to explain it. Watson X platform is a pivotal component of IBM's broader Watson X platform, designed to elevate AI's impact within enterprises operation, comprising of WatsonX.ai for foundation models, WatsonX.data for flexible data storage, and WatsonX.governance for transparent AI workflows. This platform empowers enterprises to leverage existing AI investment and tap into generative AI. Now, let's go to the prompt lab. In prompt lab, as we speak, it provides beginner-friendly prompts and comprehensive session history. Also, WatsonX.ai categorizes prompts into 6 key areas representing fundamental uses of generative AI. Here, let me take an example of marketing email generation. But before that, let me call out the 4 pillars of WatsonX.ai that are open, trusted, targeted, and empowering ones. In this marketing email generation, as you can see, if I select this, it is already in this WatsonX.ai, it is already selecting the best prompt that available for that. Also, but not only this prompt we can select. there are many prompts available on this platform. For example, Meta ones is there, Google ones are there, and IBM own one is there, which is the open source networking kind of thing for this. But here, for example, Meta's one, 70 billion generation data, which is the largest model present on our network. But there is a misconception that the larger the model, it should be a smarter one. But that is not always true, because it can also lean towards excessive creativity, because explicit guidance is key to getting discrete output, while creativity is plus in GenAI for tasks needing specific and non-creative content like this one. Now for this one we need a smaller model or strict prompts for it to stay better on track. Now, getting back to this model, we are using zero-shot prompting technique, in which we would be using zero examples. But apart from that, there are a few more techniques like one shot and one few shot, in which we will use one example or few example. But example is costlier because it will use tokens. What are tokens? Tokens are the currency of our prompt engineering. And one more thing we should note that one token is not always equal to one word. Now, for this example, we have our details ready that we want to give to our model. But before that, let's look more prominent feature of this platform, which is watsonx.governance. It helps in building trust in generative AI, as it offers a one-stop shop to help clients manage their AI to build trust in their data, mitigate risk, and prepare to meet regulatory requirements. It also provides one feature, which is AI guardrails. By default, it is off, but we can turn it on to prevent from ourselves from harmful text on output, such as hate, abusive, and prejudiced wordings or profanity. This also represents the trusted pillar of IBM's Watson, which is the trustworthiness. And earlier, we have also seen how we are cultivating open source culture, depicting our foundational principle of being open. Now, let's hit the generate button and see what it gives. As we can see, we got our result. On the first look, it seems fine, but on looking minutely, it has added up additional information. As we can see here, it was not there in our input. But how to mitigate that? In order to mitigate that, let's add one line, which is to add, do not add any additional information in our input. Let's hit the generate button. Let's see what it gives. Now the output seems to be fine. Let's take another model for this example, which is also of Google. Let's hit the generate button. Now we can see at first look it also seems to be fine and same as the earlier model result. But in the end we can see it has generated a URL which is more creative in this time. As this model tends to be more creative, hence to mitigate this creativity, we need to be more explicit in our input field. Now, instead of this line, like do not add additional information, we need to explicitly edit it. Now, let's add one more words, three more words into this, not provided above, and hit the generate button. Let's see whether it can mitigate that or not. As we can see, the output seems to be fine, and yeah, it is accurate. So we have seen how zero shot prompting is working now. Now let's take an example of another application named classification. Here we are taking the example of scenario classification, which will be helping to our BAs or business consultants in identifying project categories. This is a classic example of free-form mode present in watsonx.ai. Now where is a sample input. Let's see what it generates with the best suited model. As we can see, in the end, we are asking for the category. Here also we can see it has automatically selected the best suited model for this. And we have got the correct output. Now let's see what other structure form can do. But we have already seen that, isn't it? Previously we were using the structure form only. As one going more experience with prompting, using this node, a default would be a good option. It's important to differentiate prompting from asking direct questions because foundation models doesn't answer in traditional sense. They generate output based on input. Everything provided in the prompt is fair game for the model to utilize in its generated output. Before entering a model, prompts undergo tokenization. With the cost, it often ties to the number of tokens being used.
Oh, hi. Welcome back to our garden. As we know, customer demands and clients' needs may keep changing from time to time, and we have to keep ready to meet their goal. And in order to survive this neck-to-neck competition in our today's world. Similarly, like customer demands, my mom demands also changed. She wants a red flower for our puja. Now, what can I do? In the previous video, we used our own shrub for that white flower. Now, if we go to a third world party for that solution, it may give you a solution which may be red in color, which may provide a solution, but it may be not the solution we want. It will be more unethical, or it makes no sense for that. Now, if we want a real life scenario, WatsonX.ai provides a different foundation models that will satisfy these needs. For example, in our environment, which is we in our video we were treating as IBM WatsonX platform, we have a model, we have a shrub which will satisfy that. As you can see, we have a red flower. In this way, WatsonX.ai with many foundation models which satisfy different needs of our client will have.
Welcome back. Now we will discuss other prominent features of prompt engineering and WatsonX.ai. I'm starting with my domain specific prompt that I have designed for my project, and you will be wondering how would I have saved it. In order to do that, WatsonX.ai provides three different ways, which are prompt template, prompt session, and notebook. In details, as we save as a prompt, it captures the current prompt state, including inputs, outputs, and configuration change. For prompt session, it logs prompt engineering history, which is helpful for experimentation. As a notebook, it saves data in Jupyter Notebook format, facilitating future editing modification. Now, if we move back to my example, you will see I have to click on this history icon and will select the suitable history version. Now, in this, if I go through this, I'm trying to generate a Java code which is from a normal statement. This domain specific prompt assists me in generating a code free from SonarQube issues or with any code smells. In short, it's an industry ready code. Now, if we hit the generate button, we'll see how this star coder model is generating it. Star coder model is specifically used for generating this code. As we can see, the industry ready code is there. In all the available prompts available at WatsonX.ai platform, we are internally using specific parameters to achieve our targeted solution, proportionate to our need. It depicts the third pillar of WatsonX.ai, the targeted AI. In order to see that, we move to model parameters, which are decoding. In decoding has of two types, greedy and sampling. What is greedy? Greedy is nothing but a mode which favors probability tokens, high probability tokens, making the model less creative, while the sampling is the vice versa, making it more creative and can have a risk of nonsensical output. It greedy has two parameters of its own, repetition penalty and stop sequence. Repetition penalty is ranging from 1 to 2, and it tends to repeat, it controls the model tendency to repeat or loop. Top sequence are a character which stop or halt the model to output the generation. In sampling model, if we see, it has its own parameters. Temperature, which is nothing but which range from 0.0 to 2.0, which affects the creativity. Higher the value, more the creativity. Top P is also a decimal value which influences word choice. Top K is an integer which say higher the top K value, more the randomness in the output. Random seed is also there. If we see, this is the random seed. It gives diverse outputs each time while maintaining the same seed ensures the correct result. Apart from that, it has the same parameters as of greedy and minimum and maximum tokens, which is nothing the limitation we put on the tokens. Apart from that, we know it is evident that we are using more tokens and are expensive one in this one-shot parameter example, one-shot prompting example. But for a greater good and to achieve a sensible output, we need it. We can take a real-life example of India's space mission in which Mangalyaan was an example of zero-shot prompting, whereas Chandrayaan 2 was an example of one-shot prompting. Also, it is important to differentiate prompting from as a direct questioning machine because foundation models doesn't answer in traditional sense. They generate output based on input. Everything provided in the prompt is fair game for the model to utilize in its generated output. Also, the ChatGPT, the existing model, which has been actually optimized which learning from numerous examples and fine-tuned with methods like RLHF, which makes it costly and apt at handling general questions. Still, it can produce hallucinated outputs. But what is hallucination? Hallucination is that when LLMs provides an output which are factually incorrect or nonsensical. And what's concerning is that these answers can be sound plausible despite being wrong. At the end, but not the least, I would say for generative AI, we can use the knowledge of cloud implementation in a way because in cloud, we pay for how much we use and what we use. Similarly, for Watson X, it gives us the same flexibility which makes it more appealing platform available in the market. In synopsis, we can say Watson X empowers its user in a way that no other platform does.
At last, but not the least, we came to our end of a beautiful short journey. With a good hope, I'm optimistic and will be eagerly waiting for our next meeting so that we can dig deeper into our technical discussions and have positive talks furthermore. Now, in the last, I would like to say, no, not we don't have only a goal to reduce our financial crunch or save resources. We have another goal to reduce the energy cuttings so that we can meet our carbon net neutral goal and we can have a better future not only for our client, our customer, but for the whole world we would be impacting. That's the motto of us, that's the motto of IBM, and that should be the motto of everyone. Thank you. Go green.